Hi guys, it's Cassie. So, you guys remember how last week we talked about God helping Moses help the people leaving Egypt by feeding them that stuff on the ground? Oh, it was bread. Do you remember what that was called? It was manna. And then he also helped the people by giving them quail to eat at night, which was kind of like chicken. And last but not least, he made sure that they had fresh drinking water. Well, this week we're actually going to go back in time a little bit and talk about how God made the earth and everything on it. And I know I promised you guys to have another family member help me talk about our story today, but what I think I'm going to do instead is take you outside and we're going to be able to kind of talk about the things that God makes or has made on this earth and what things we kind of see in nature. This week's story comes from the book of Genesis. And I forgot to mention this last time, but when I say the book of Genesis, I actually mean a chapter within a really big book called the Bible. Now, this is my Bible at home. It's called the Message, and it's the same thing as the Bible. It's just worded a little bit differently so I can understand it a little better because the original Bible is a series of stories written thousands of years ago. And each week, I'm going to start off saying where our story comes from and what book it's from or what chapter it's from. So you guys can always know it's coming from this Bible. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and read you this story. And then afterwards, we're going to kind of walk around and talk about it, okay? So, long, long ago, there were no rocks. There were no seashells, no trees, no animals, and no people. There was just darkness. But God was there, and this is what God did. By the way, this is Xander, my dog. I guess I kind of have a family member helping me tell the story. God said, "Let there be light." And just like that, there was light. God called the light day. Part of the time it was dark. God called the dark night. Next, God made the sky. He stretched this beautiful blue sky up high overhead, and God made lots of fluffy, puffy white clouds to float in the beautiful blue sky. And we have some behind us today. Then God gathered up all the water and put some here and some there until the world was filled with huge oceans and long rivers, clear blue lakes, and little streams. In between all the big oceans and lakes and long rivers and little streams, God put dry land. God made tall mountains, little round hills, and low flat places. Next, God said, "Let trees and flowers and grass grow on the earth." And just like that, the plants began to grow. Soft green grass and tall, tall trees and tiny plants grew and grew. Fruit trees and berry bushes, vegetables and flowers blossomed and grew. But that's not all that God made. God made the bright, warm sun to shine in the daytime sky. The sun warms the air in the daytime and helps the plants grow. God made the moon and the twinkling stars to light the nighttime sky. God looked at all these things he had made for our world and said, "It is good." And it was good because God had made it. God made everything in our wonderful world. God is so great. We can thank God for making the world. The Bible said, God made the world and everything in it. So in that story, we talked about how God created everything, right? He created every single one of us, every single one of you guys, and he created all living things, like my dog Xander. And we also talked about how he created, things as grass and all of these plants and water and the land and anything you can think of, God created. So here are some plants that I found walking through our field. Xander likes the plants. Hey, sorry. Um, God created plants like these, whether they're purple or yellow or white, or whether they just have leaves. It's amazing how He came up with all of these things. So the next time you see colorful flowers, tall green grass, the blue skies, the clouds, maybe when you go out at night and you see the moon and all the stars, just remember that God had a plan and He made all of those things with a purpose. So, today we learned that God made everything. And we're really grateful for everything that God has made, right? So my question for you guys is a really easy one. Can you guys tell me one thing that God has made on land? And that can be anything. Go ahead and think about that. I'll think about what I'm going to say. And what did you guys come up with? The first thing that I thought of were the flowers that I picked outside, those really pretty yellow and purple flowers. And then I also thought about my dog Xander that you guys saw in the picture earlier, as well as the trees and the grass. But I guess that's more than one thing, right? What did you guys think of? And my second question is, can you guys think of one thing that God made that's in the sky? The first thing that I think of is the sun. Maybe today, because it's really sunny outside, it's nice and warm, I can wear shorts outside if I'd like to, and I'm really glad that God made the sun so that we could see everything and stay warm. It's my favorite thing in the sky, I guess. Did you guys think about the clouds or even the blue sky? Or maybe the moon and the stars? Anything that's in the sky. And, you could almost even say a bird flying through the sky too. But anything that you think of, God made, right? And we're really thankful for that. So that's the end of our lesson this week. I'm sending you guys a coloring sheet, pretty easy one with some flowers. I'll get to color mine this week and I'll share it with the class. And lastly, we want to keep our Pastor Bob Molesbury in our prayers. He had to go to the doctor this week and get a surgery done. So we're hoping that he has a speedy recovery and we'll get back to Sunday mornings with him. So keep him in our prayers. And finally, that brings us to our prayer to end today's lesson. So go ahead and bow your head, and here we go. God, you are our good creator. Everything that you have made is awesome and beautiful. As we drink water today, walk outside and feel the warm sun, or pet our animals and hug our family, we give thanks to you and all the good that you've created. Amen.